fact that I just recorded 20 minutes of footage and no audio was picked up. Okay. That doesn't hurt. That doesn't hurt me at all because it was actually going so well. Hey you guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So 2023 has been the year of reading for me, and honestly I've been loving it so far. This year I started a Goodreads account, and on the account it shows you that you can set a 2023 reading challenge for yourself. Then you can set whatever number of books you want to read by the end of the year. And because it's been a while since I actually had any proper reading time, I just set it at 50. I felt like that would be like an achievable number for me, and so far I'm at 22. And I really wanted to share with you guys all the books that I've read. Some are physical copies and some are digital. Most are digital because I have most of them on my iPad. Yeah, I thought it would just like kind of put me back into the vibe of reading again, because this year these past 2 months I've been in a reading slump. I read a book that put me in a complete slump, and it was actually the first book I ever DNF'd, and I'll be telling you guys what the book is later on in the video. But I'm really starting to actually think about reading again, and I didn't want to force myself to read again just because for the sake of the challenge. I just wanted to kind of get back into it naturally. And I've been thinking about it a lot recently, so I just thought I'd make some videos about it, get back into the zone of reading, and hopefully be able to finish my challenge for this year. So first I'm going to be sharing with you guys my physical copies, and then we'll move on to the digitals. Now most of them are digitals because I do have mainly almost my whole TBR list is on my iPad. And then here I have my Notion, which has all the books that I read this year plus my TBR, and here it has all of my ratings on the books. So I'll be kind of reading to the side if I'm not looking at the camera all the time. But yeah, so let's get started. So I started off with this first book. I actually finished this book on New Year's Day. I finished it in one sitting, and it's A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This book is part of a trilogy, so there are 2 other books. I will say I love this book. I gave this one 5 stars. It was such a good book. I could not put it down. I finished it all in one sitting. Then there is The Good Girl Bad Blood. This is the second book in the series, and I finished this also in one sitting. And this one, I also gave this one 5 stars. And then the last book in the trilogy is As Good as Dead, and I gave this one not 5 stars. I gave this one 4 stars. And then we have this book, Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami. I gave this one 3 stars. I don't know, there's something, I feel like I'm willing to read it again because I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about this book. Some people loved it and then some people hated it. I don't know, I just felt like it was kind of unfulfilled for me. There's something about the story, it just felt like it was unresolved. And I don't know, maybe I would give it another read, try to go into it with a different mindset than what I did the first time. But I don't know, but yeah, this one so far gets 3 stars for me. And then I have The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. I love this book, as you can obviously tell. I gave this one, I gave it 3 stars, but actually no, this was more of 4 stars for me. I'm thinking back at it, and after I read the book, I watched the movie, and I just love the whole concept of this book. I thought it was so nice and honestly really sad, and I don't know, I just love this book, and I was annotating the hell out of this book. And I'm pretty sure I actually sketched. Yep, I was sketching in this book as well and everything. I don't know. I really like this book. I don't know why I gave it 3 stars. Actually, this is 4 stars for me. And then the last physical copy that I read was Things I Should Have Known by Claire. I actually don't know how to pronounce her last name, but I'm just gonna keep it up here. I don't want to butcher the name. But yeah, this book actually, I've had it for a really long time, and it wasn't my first time reading it, but I read this, I want to say maybe 10th grade, and then I had it for so long. I got it from a friend. But yeah, I didn't really remember much about this book, so I just went in to read it again, and yeah, it was very wholesome, very nice, and I really like this book. I'd give this book I gave it 4 stars. So that is the end of the physical copies. I didn't buy a lot of physical copies this year because I was downloading everything digital, and I kind of wanted to see which books I would end up loving, because I didn't want to buy a book and then end up not liking it and then like just having it there. I really wanted to read them first digitally and then see if I love them, and if those that I love, I will buy them later on and collect them. But yeah, so far everything else was on my iPad. So for the digital copies, I'm just gonna put the cover of the book here, and then I'll tell you guys my ratings. So the first digital book that I read was The Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, and I gave this one a 5 stars. This was such a cute book. I love this book. It was so nice, and I think it was the first sports romance book that I read, and I really enjoyed it. I gave this one a 5 stars. Then we have my favorite, probably my favorite book this year, and that's Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I gave that one a 5 stars. I love this book. I first read the book, then I watched the show, and then from the show came the album, and I'm just obsessed with all 3. I listen to the album practically every day. I just love the whole 70s vibe of it, and I don't know, I just love this book, and I'm hearing that there's a season 2. I honestly don't know what they're gonna do with the season 2. Maybe it's just like continuing off of like what happened at the end, but yeah, I'm so excited for watching season 2 of the show. And then we have the Twisted series, which is by Anna Huang. I gave the whole thing, I would say overall a 4.5, but each book I gave like different ratings. So Twisted Love I gave 4 stars, Twisted Games I gave 5 stars. I absolutely love Twisted Games. And Twisted Hate 4 stars, and then Twisted Lies 5 stars. Then I have Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I gave that one a 5 stars. It's one of my favorite tropes. So yeah, I really enjoyed that book. And then I have the Dreamland Billionaire series by Lauren Asher, and the first book is The Fine Print. I gave that one a 4 stars, and then Terms and Conditions, which I also gave 4 stars, and The Final Offer, which I also gave 4 stars. The whole series overall was 4 stars for me. And then I have the Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. I gave that one 3 stars. Not my favorite trope, and honestly, I wasn't in love with the book. It was okay. And then we have the Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. I gave that one a 3 stars as well. Did not like the female character in that one. I don't know, there's something about her I just did not like. I'm not gonna like go into depth with like reviewing those books. If you guys, like I said, if you guys want a video of me like reviewing the books that I read, or like reviewing the certain like for books of certain tropes, I'll be happy to do those videos. But yeah, so like now I'm just not gonna go into details with it because that's gonna take hours. Then we have Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating. I gave this was by Christina Lauren. I was a bit disappointed with this book, to be honest. I gave it a 3 stars. I heard a lot about Christina Lauren, and like I've heard like everyone loves her books. So when I read this one, I don't know, I was kind of disappointed. Nothing about this book really resonated with me, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't even remember anything about this book. Like I feel like I forgot what it was about as soon as I finished reading it. It wasn't anything that like really stuck with me, and I don't know. I'm hoping I still want to read. I have a lot of Christina Lauren's books in my TBR, so I'm hoping those will be a kind of a redemption thing. I don't know. It just was not one of my favorite books. Then we have. Okay, when I tell you some of these books I read without actually knowing what they're about. I had an idea of what this book was about, but that was nothing compared to what the book's actually about. And I'm talking about the book Den of Vipers by K.A. Knight. I gave this one 2 stars. I just couldn't with this book. I was like, oh my god. It was not what I was expecting. I went into it knowing kind of the trope. I knew the tropes, but I didn't know how intense it was gonna be. It wasn't like anything I've ever read before, so I was very surprised by that. Then the next book, kind of the same idea, but I enjoyed this book a lot more than Den of Vipers, and this was Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. I gave this one a 4 stars. Not my favorite trope. It's not really the trope I usually go for, but I didn't know what the tropes of this book were when I went into it. I kind of like found out while I was reading it, and yeah, it was okay. It was good. I liked the book. It wasn't as graphic as Den of Vipers, and obviously those tropes are completely different from each other, but yeah, it was, again, not what I was expecting at all. Then we have Breakaway by Grace Riley, and I gave this book a 5 stars. I love this book, and I posted a review on it on my Instagram page. I have an Instagram that's just about like books and everything, and I posted a review about this book, and the author actually reposted it on her story, and I actually talked to her. She DM'd me and everything. She commented on the post, and then we DM'd each other, and then like we talked. I told her about how much I love this book, and then she ended up giving me recommendations about like books, and both from her books and like other authors, and she was very, very sweet, and that was such a nice experience. That's not something that's ever happened before, but yeah, I really enjoyed this book, and the author was so sweet to repost my review on her page, so that was very cool. And then we have The Right Move by Liz Tomford, and this was another 5 stars. I love this book. Definitely, I would say one of my favorite sports romance books. So all of the sports romance books that I've read before this one were either hockey or football. This one is actually basketball, so there's like the different tropes there for you. And then the next book we have is Iced Out by Veronica Eden. I also love this book so much. This is another hockey romance, and I gave this one a 5 stars. And then we have the last book that I read this year. Actually, I don't want to say I read it. I didn't really count it in my I didn't count it in my challenge because I did DNF it. This is the first book I ever DNF'd. I've never not finished a book before. I always, like, even if I didn't like the book, I'd always make an effort to actually finish it, get it done, but I just could not with this book. I actually reread it like twice to like get through, but I would always like be 75 to 100 pages in, and I'll be like, I just can't do it, this book. I just can't do it. First book I ever DNF'd, and this is the book that put me into a slump, and that is Normal People by Sally Rooney. I gave this book a 1 star. I just could not with this book. It put me in a slump. It put me off of reading for 2 months, and I just wasn't into it. Oh my goodness, I was just not into it. There was just something about this book. It was so like dull and mundane, and the characters were just so boring. I'm so sorry to say that, but they were just boring, and I just did not enjoy this book at all. I saw some reviews about it, and a lot of people like had the same opinions as I did, and then a lot of people loved it. So the same thing with Norwegian Wood. You'd get these books where there's like 2 different extremists of their reviews. So you'd have people who just loved this book, and then some people that just could not stand it, who thought it was like such a boring book. And I just have to say, with Normal People, there was nothing about it. Like, a lot of people were saying like that's just how it was supposed to be written, and like that's how the author intended it to be, and I don't know, just something about that didn't resonate with me. I didn't really see what the author was trying to do, and the characters were just so like mundane. There was nothing that I related to with the characters. It was just like I just like reading it, and I was just waiting for the story to pick up, and it just never did. And I tried to like reread it from the beginning, just like see if I'm missing anything or if like I'm reading it wrong or anything. I couldn't, and it put me in a complete slump, and it made me upset that I had to DNF my first book. But right now I am slowly getting into the vibe of reading again. I have 2 books that I'm currently reading, and one of them, like, I tried to read at the beginning of my slump, but then I saw myself like not enjoying reading it at all, and I was just like, let me just stop for now and like give myself a little break before I like DNF another book or like burn out even more. And so I have 2 books that I'm currently reading, and I have 2 books that I'm currently reading right now, and that's People You Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry and The Flat Chair by Beth O'Leary. So far I am liking People You Meet on Vacation a lot more than The Flat Chair. But yeah, no, so far like I am slowly but surely getting out of my slump. So yeah, hopefully one of these books will get me back into the zone of reading, because I really want to be able to achieve this goal by the end of the year, and we're halfway through the year and I'm halfway through my goal, so I'm hoping that I do get back into it and get back to enjoying my books, because oh my god, that was terrible. So that's it for today's video. Hope you guys liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you guys would like to see more book related videos, or if you have any of these books that you would like to read, or if you recommend any books. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!